Hi guys, so I've just finished book number 15 of my summer holidays. It was The Stormkeeper's Island by Catherine Doyle. I know this is a book that's extremely popular at the moment. I believe it's Waterstone's Book of the Month for the young adults or children's literature section. It was an interesting story, this one. It was a very complex story, and it was one that a few times I did find myself having to sort of flash back and reread because I found myself slightly confused, but it was a really good story all the same. I want to start by saying the range of vocabulary in this book was phenomenal. I've read plenty of books recently, and I don't think much comes close in terms of the sort of the vocabulary chosen. The nouns were spectacular at times. There were words chosen that I just simply wouldn't have thought of. I found myself looking in Googling. I was going to say looking in the dictionary, but I found myself Googling plenty of words, thinking, what does that mean? And I found myself really enlightened by it. Essentially, it's a story about a young boy, and my pronunciation isn't great. I had a bit of a chat with Catherine on Twitter to try and get the correct pronunciation of this. I believe it's Fionn or Finn, a young boy called Finn. He returns to, I think it's Aranamore Island. He returns to this island on holiday to visit his grandfather. And his grandfather is known as the Stormkeeper of the island. Now, as sort of history goes, there's lots of magic and mystery involved in this island, but essentially the role of the Stormkeeper is to control the weather and keep the sort of myths of the past at bay, to keep the island safe and secure. Now, there is a secret in the island. There's a secret cave, and if you get to that cave, you get one wish. And there is a bit of a race to get to that cave between Fionn or Finn and a boy called Bartley, who's also trying to get to that cave and pronounce his secret. Now, Finn's wish, is to bring his mother to the island to have the life with his mother that he and his sister so wish. However, Bartley wants to become the Stormkeeper himself, so there's a bit of a race against time there. It's an interesting story. It's a really lovely story. It intertwines themes of sort of magic and mystery with a really nice adventure story. There's lots of family connections in this. The relationship between Finn and his sister is somewhat stretched at times, mainly because her boyfriend is Bartley, Finn's enemy, and I'm sure there's people that can relate to that sort of dynamic themselves. There's also the relationship between Finn and his grandfather, which is very close. First, it doesn't start that way. At first, his grandfather is quite cold to him, but we do understand why, and we begin to see how the relationship unravels and develops between time. The relationship between Finn and his sister also evolves between time, and it's really lovely to see how that happens. So I thought it was a good book. I thought it was an interesting story. I'd say not my typical genre. The sort of magical mystery type books aren't perhaps what I would always go for, but I think it was a really good read. I'd say it was a book that I would personally gear towards year 5 at the earliest, more of a year 6 book. And not saying that because of the themes of the book as such, but I do think the vocabulary, the word choices, the complex sentence structure, I do think that would definitely lend itself towards older readers. I think to really get what this book sort of wants you to get, and to do it justice, I do think it would suit the older readers. It's a really good story, and as I say, it looks like there's a follow-up to come by Catherine Doyle, so certainly keep peeled for that in sort of spring 2019. But that is The Stormkeeper's Island, Catherine Doyle. Enjoyed reading it. Check it out yourself. Many thanks. Bye.